Hi everyone, welcome to Hue at Home. I'm Tracy Koga. Well, for the first time ever, we can say hindsight is 2020. And will 2021 be the year? We've all learned how to pivot and of course learned how to be safe and healthy. But we also know how to bring hope. So today we're going to feature some incredible people doing just that. Coming up, I'll sit down with Brenda Gorlick. She is the mastermind behind the Masterclass series, bringing the arts and theater accessible and free to all. And then later on, you'll meet Jeannie Whitebird. She's bringing hope to her own community of Selkirk. But first, let's give you a little fresh look from Verde Hair Salon. They're going to show you how to do a top knot and make it look pretty top notch.
Hi there, so I'm Natasha from Verde Salon, and what I'm going to show you today is how to create a cute little top knot for second day hair. So my hair is very fine, so I find that the second day it can tend to get a little bit oily, and I don't like washing my hair every day. So what I do is I take Aveda's dry shampoo, and I will dispense some of the product in my hair to absorb the excess oil. On both sides. And I'm just spraying a little bit at the root. So this way, when I pull my hair back, you're not gonna see that oil. So because it is winter time, my hair, because it is so fine, you can see how staticky it gets. So Aveda's Air Control, it's a light hold hairspray, but I also like to use it to get rid of all of that static. It's like a great static guard for your hair. So next, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a high ponytail on the top of my head. So what I like to use instead of little elastics is these great little halo hair ties from Birch Accessories. That way, because they're coiled, they're not gonna rip out your hair when you take them out. So what I'll do is any pieces that are left out, I just like to leave. That way it looks a little bit more natural and not so tight against the head. When you have finer hair and you put a tight ponytail, it can make it appear a lot finer. Okay. So just a nice high ponytail. What I also like to do is then I will take the ponytail and I will braid the mids and ends. Okay. So just a traditional braid. Then I will incorporate the little ouchless elastic just for the ends, and then that way when I wrap this braid around, you won't see it. Okay, something like that. Then what I'm going to do is pull apart the braid gently. And this will give the appearance of a thicker, fuller braid. So, and it doesn't need to be perfect, because then we are going to take this braid and we are just going to wrap it around the hair tie, taking bobby pins, securing the braid that we just wrapped. And if there's any little tweaking that you need to do. Okay. Then I just finish with my air control. Okay, and then I will create more texture. And there you go.
Hi everyone, I'm Shannon, and this is Joanna. Hi Joanna. We are so excited to teach you mime, or as we like to call it, not your grandma's mime. Now, we know what you're thinking. Mime, you're going to teach us how to get stuck in a box? And the answer is yes. You'll learn how to do that, but mime is so much more than that. It's creating believable characters. It's establishing the world around you. And yes, it's creating objects that aren't there. Essentially, it's creating illusions. Yeah, it's magic. And yes, it is learning the skills of mime illusion, and that's where we're going to start. And then after that, we'll move on to character, and then end off with you creating your own scene. We are so excited to show you and to see you there. Bye.
Well, I would really like to see you in person, Brenda, but you know what? It is so good to see a longtime friend, and you know, you have been so busy, girl, so proud. Made in Manitoba, Masterclass. This is the theater series. Folks, if you ever dreamed of wanting to be either in front of the camera, being on stage, performing, acting, singing, dancing, this is your chance to shine. And it's all because of Brenda. So I want to welcome Brenda Gorlick. It's so good to see you, although, you know, it's virtual. I give you a virtual hug. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, congratulations, but let's get right into it. Made in Manitoba, it starts now. Tell us more about it.
You bet. Well, it was a program that came out of necessity. Traditionally, I was teaching musical theater programming through the summer, live and in person. And when everything shut down, as we all know, we had to pivot. So came up with a concept where we took some of the best and brightest stars and professionals in the field of theater and music and dance, and I created a program called Made in Manitoba Masterclass. And it started in June, actually. So I had actually reached out to the educators before the end of the school term, knowing that they were probably needing some online Zoom material. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it started. I reached out also to former students of mine and or colleagues who are born, raised, and or trained in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And they had all been working professionally somewhere in the world. So we're talking New York, London, England, Melbourne, Australia, West Coast of Canada. And these wonderful people all said yes to say they would love to be part of the Made in Manitoba Masterclass. And we started with teaching dance, as you said, music, acting, improvisation. Now we were expanding this round. This is actually our fourth round. We had 2 virtuals, 1 week of live in August when we were open for a very short while. And then we had virtual in November through the month of November. And now we're lucky enough to have received a Safe at Home Manitoba grant to run January and February programming. So we've expanded to include All Abilities Dance.
Yay.
And we're calling it All Access Dance. And I'm very proud of that program because it was something that actually you and I started many years ago. through the SMD
Yeah.
organization,
Yeah.
which is now Manitoba Possible. So we're going to be teaching dance to all abilities, all ages. We're also expanding to include the deaf and non and hard of hearing community. We've got a mime program, which you'll hear about shortly. And this is something where, you know, we're all kind of stuck in our home bases, and we want to be able to still expand our minds and our bodies and our energies and our creative abilities. So yeah, this was sort of something I've worked towards, and this is what I had hoped for and prayed for, and the province of Manitoba came through. Yay!
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? We'll come back to you, Brenda, because there's a lot more to involved. But I want to now invite Shannon, my good friend Shannon Guile, and you know, hey, it is so wonderful to see you, and a lot has happened for you personally too in 2020. But Shannon, I guess share a little bit more on your involvement with this Masterclass series and what you hope that you can bring.
Absolutely, yeah. So the Masterclass series, the portion that I'm teaching is mime and storytelling. It's a subject that's near and dear to my heart. And I've been teaching it for over 10 years, but I have had opened up to the deaf community as well in, I think it was 2012. And since then, I've been closely connected with their community because they don't have as much opportunity for training, and we've changed that a lot now. So this is just another opportunity to expand, so that it's not just for the deaf and hard of hearing community. It's also for the hearing community, but to show that we can all work together. We can all be together. So it's very exciting to have a workshop that's open to everybody.
Yeah, you know, and I had the privilege too of seeing some of the works that you have done over the years, and I was blown away. And I mean, there's so much talent, as we know, but like you said, to open the doors to young people or people of all ages, you know, to share that experience and give that to them, just to see their expressions, unbelievable. So I think this is so wonderful that Brenda had this idea and that you're giving it this access to everybody, being it free. And that's a great segue to introduce David Lightfoot. I remember you. And how are you doing, David?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
Good, good. So I want to talk now about your experience being an all-abilities dancer. More importantly, David, for you, the ability to dance, that whole experience. Can you describe what it has meant to you over all of these years?
Well, I would say it is good exercise, although more my passion does lie in writing.
Wow.
and recently I actually had a short story published in Scarlet Leaf Review magazine, which is published on the web in Toronto. It's a very long short story called The Dinner is Ruined, and because of the fact that there's so much dialogue into it, I actually transformed this into a stage play.
Fantastic. Now, did you ever in your wildest dreams, David, ever think that you'd be able to do this, all of this?
I did have, I actually dreamt about seeing my first publication when I was younger, like maybe in my 20s, but I didn't actually move to Winnipeg until I was 29, and thanks to the resources that were available, my career in writing is now emerging.
Well, congratulations. Mm-hmm. And what does writing bring for you now, David?
It actually gives me an opportunity to use my brain creatively, because I know that as a person with cerebral palsy, I know that I probably wouldn't make it very far, like doing anything with so much physical ability like trade work, and I would probably need a career that didn't require a lot of walking around, like maybe sitting at a desk.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, that's an amazing, amazing thing that you've done, despite all of this, pandemic and lockdown. Brenda, I guess that's a great testament to what the arts really truly mean to people, and the success story, like in David's case.
Absolutely. I've been one of the most blessed people in as much as I've only ever worked in the arts from a very young age. Even when you and I were training together as young fun heads.
That's ballet.
I've never left the industry, and neither have you. You've always been involved in the performing arts. And it feeds us in so many ways. And I've also, as an educator, been able to share so much, this is the discovery of spirit in people. Sometimes, when you least expect it, somebody's going to say, you know what, that changed my world. That shifted me into a brand new direction, just as it has with David. I've seen those types of stories evolve through artists in schools programs and through our theater. We've been running Winnipeg Studio Theater since 2006. And you get live audiences. We've got a training wing, the Studio Works Academy. The beautiful thing is, we've turned out some amazing professionals who, again, are some of the Masterclass leaders now. They've been working on Broadway. They've been working in the West End. They've been touring the world. They've been creating, directing, choreographing.
We'll just put up the poster that you sent me to for all the instructors in the Masterclass. There's Shannon, we've seen them. And you've got, the roster is amazing. Samantha Hill, Andrea Macasset, the list goes on. And we don't know about this, or a lot of people don't. So I'm, very, very happy and proud to say that they are being showcased and they're able to share their experiences, because you do have a section where it says, Ask a Broadway Star. I'm kind of curious about that.
Exactly. Well, we're going to have a panel of some of these people, again, former Manitobans, and most of them are back home because of COVID. They will be able to man a Zoom room and answer questions from the general public to say, so what's it like? What was your journey? How did you get to the stage? What are you doing now? How do you keep yourself active? How do you keep yourself safe? How do you keep yourself alive? Our opening weekend is January 10th. And in fact, we're starting with theatrical makeup. So if people want to learn how to apply everything from naturalism to aged makeup to creative, zany, over-the-top makeup, Jean-Marc Lafont from our community is starting with a three package set. In fact, most of the programming is done in threes. So there will be 3 dance classes for youth, 3 dance classes for adults. There will be 3 sets of mime classes.
Wow, so you get, we're going to get the full bore, tutorial on all of this. So I think it's amazing, and it's absolutely free. So I think that's fascinating. Shannon, I just want to ask you, everybody has their own story to share through all of 2020, and now that we're in 2021. What have you learned as far as being an actor, being a comedian, and the livelihood of a performing artist? And what is that going to look like in the future?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I found that there's a word that Brenda used, which is pivot. And that's what we've kind of been trained to do, is to learn how to just work on the spot and figure things out in a moment. And even, for I've produced, created, and going to be acting in a play at MTYP this year. And it's changed entirely. It's now, instead of being a full run, it's just a few shows, but now we're pivoting to focus to be more online and make it more digital and make it more accessible. And it's exciting because it's challenged us in such a different way. And I think that a lot of artists are feeling that at first it was scary, and then it opened up this whole new world that fear had prevented us from stepping into. And there's so many more opportunities now that you can expand into, and different challenges. And even, teaching mime, I teach at the University of Winnipeg, and I'm teaching on Zoom, and it's been a fun little challenge, even in the way that I'm teaching and how I can make it interesting for all the students and what we can do. So yeah, I think that, change is always scary at first, but it always opens up more doors.
Most certainly. And David, for you, what's your next project? A big novel? Maybe a screenplay?
Well, I am currently, I am working on some short stories and getting them into literary journals in hopes to get my foot in the door to hopefully impress agents and uh, and and literary publishing houses. But one of my current works in progress is actually a humanitarian project.
Wow.
I'm actually writing a 5-book saga for young adult readers based on actually inspired by the Twilight and the Hunger Games and the Mortal Instruments that made the romance, action, and adventures series for young adult readers very trendy. It actually gives the comic book and cartoon superheroes their own day in the sun. It's called The Glory of Love. And the reason why I said it's a humanitarian project, I'm actually trying to work with a Cystic Fibrosis Foundation in the United States. It's a celebrity charity. It's called the Boomer Esiason Foundation, and it's in connection to former NFL quarterback, I should say, Boomer Esiason, who actually does commentary on both football and sports on CBS mainly. And for the Boomer Esiason Foundation, these books contain subplots related to cystic fibrosis, and related fundraising, as well as professional football and sports. My first completed novel, The Glory of Love, actually contains a cystic fibrosis fundraising subplot, while my second book, Lovers in a Dangerous Time, actually contains a pro football subplot. And my third novel, which is a current work in progress, it's called Every Breath You Take. You notice the trend with the titling?
Yes, I do. Like, I was wondering, is there a copyright issue here or no?
No, I just thought that, Stephanie Meyer had a theme for the title of her books. I thought, why not? As a music enthusiast, I may as well do the same. So anyway, my third novel, Every Breath You Take, also revisits the cystic fibrosis and fundraising subplots. And another novel that I'm working on, I should say, is actually a dystopian inspired by Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale.
Wow.
Especially the success of the TV series, but this time it actually gives the men the handmaid treatment. And as a little spoiler, the men have to go around start again. As a spoiler, there was an alien invasion has contaminated the water supply in all of North America, in most of North America, I should say. The state of Hawaii remains unaffected, and apparently it affected the men's ability to reproduce.
Ooh.
So in an overthrow of so unfortunately the North American government has been overthrown. Canada and the United States no longer exist, and it's now the Republic. It's now the Republic of Del and Lay, where again the women have control of the men in order to keep the population from going down. The men have to go around impregnating women.
Oh my goodness, David, that's a lot of reading and so interesting. I cannot believe that. It's such a creative mind. So congratulations to you. I think you've done quite a bit of work. Brenda, before we go, just maybe to wrap things up, where can people go to sign up and take in some of these incredible classes?
Great. Well, we have our website poised and ready to go. It's winnipegstudiotheatre.com/workshops/ I always get those mixed up. They're that way.
yeah, it's / yeah.
And you can sign up for one or all. There are a total of 26 workshops, but 8 kind of modules. And they are defined by, there's a full schedule on our website, and there are age
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 appropriate.
definitions as well.
Age
So there's
divisions,
youth
yeah.
and adult, basically categories. And I think it's going to be a great time. We've already had quite a few people just like click and entering our page and signing up. So I'm very excited to take it
Oh,
to them.
yes. Oh, you know what? I think it couldn't come at a more important time. It's January through February, and well, you know what? Winter's here, and I think it's wonderful. So congratulations! Thank you so much, Shannon, for joining us. And I'm looking forward to that play with MTYP too as well. So Phyllis, keep us abreast on when that's all going to happen. I'd love to have you back.
And she forgot the biggest thing that happened to her in 2020.
Oh.
I don't think you mentioned it. She had a baby.
We had a baby. Oh, just a little thing. Oh, no. Well, yes, and everybody's healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're healthy and happy, and that's the other beauty of all of this is that you get to really watch them grow every little minute moment. Although you think you're a genius because you see all the tiny little things, and you're like, no, this is just human.
Yeah. Well, don't blink an eye because they'll be before long. Not little babies anymore. And and congratulations, David. I'm looking forward to seeing all 5 books out. I love the titles. I love the concept. You're brilliant, and you're a perfect example on why we need the arts and culture in our lives. And you know what, Brenda, thank you so much.
Thank you, and I hope to not go off topic. Sorry for going off topic, but I hope that I actually made some hot chocolate for myself for the meeting, and specifically for the meeting. I hope I wasn't being rude by drinking.
No, not at all. Not at all, David. Enjoy your hot chocolate. Thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you, Shannon. Made in Manitoba Masterclasses. Go to the website, sign up. You know what? Brenda has a way of truly finding the biggest stars in all of us, so thank you. Welcome back to Hue at Home. We would also like to mention that the Masterclass series workshops will be, the majority of them, ASL supported. So you can go to the website, and that's winnipegstudiotheatre.com/workshops. Now, to end off the show, we are going to meet Jeannie Whitebird. She is one amazing woman who is bringing so much hope to her own community in Selkirk. If you've ever driven through Selkirk, you might have seen some of Jeannie and her team's work. So now we're going to have an exclusive behind the scenes of her latest installation in her own hometown of Selkirk.
Bonjour, I'm Jeannie Whitebird. We've been told by our elders that our spirits have always existed and they always will. I've been told by one of my elders that Dibiki Jesus, Grandmother Moon, gifted my spirit its name. Jamanang Benase Kwe. I am South Eagle woman. I also come, when I was born, my parents gave me the name Jeannie Whitebird. I'm blessed to have 2 communities. I live in a second one here in Selkirk, Manitoba, with my 2 children, my 2 adult children, Asa and Alvina Red Eagle. So we're honored to have with us a young friend who's going to sing a song. Her name is Melody Owen. She is swift running deer. She's from Pagasti First Nation. So Melody, she'll be singing the water song. I'd like to acknowledge we are located on Treaty 1 land. This is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Dakota, and Oji-Cree. It's also the home of the Métis people.
Welcome, Jeannie, to Hue at Home. What a very special opening for our show opener of 2021. It really kind of put a great perspective on people in the community doing amazing things. So we're going to go right to it. You are traditionally not a trained muralist, but some of the creations that you have created, along with your, I'm sure, your talented crew, are totally amazing. So Jeannie, take us, I guess, through your journey on becoming a muralist and connecting art with your community in Selkirk.
Okay, so, like you said, I'm not a professional artist. I'm creative. I have a creative spirit, and I think that all of us do, but we can ask ourselves, when did that stop being nurtured? Probably in grade school. So my opportunity to enter into this kind of amazing work, this creative amazing work, it only started in August of 2018. And at that time, I was searching out for different areas for community members to do community service and volunteer service hours. So one of the things that I noticed was a woman who was painting a mural, and that's on Manitoba Avenue, and it's at the House of Economy, and it's now called Hidden Treasures. So I walked over to her. Well, I had a broken leg at the time, so I hobbled over to her and I asked her if she would have room for people to volunteer to help create this mural. And she said yes. And at the time, right afterwards, she asked if she could take a picture of me, because I had a broken leg. I was like, okay, sure. So she took a picture and she said, well, we're interested in doing another mural, and it's just right up the street in the same block. And she said it's called, the working title is All Walks of People. So she got a hold of me later on when they started doing that project. So that's where I was able to bring in some of the people, to do community service hours and to do volunteer work. And that's where my real work began. And we got to paint this amazing mural, and it just so happened me and my broken leg were in it. So
that's walk a mile in my shoes. Yes, walk a mile in my shoes.
And it's now, yeah, walk a mile in my shoes. Don't judge me until you've walked a mile in my shoes. So that's where some of that work began. And because myself and one of the people who I brought into the project is Brad Lent. So together, he and I got to be mentored in the art of mural making, from inception of design all the way through to the installation of the art piece. So I'd like to introduce Brad.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Brad.
Nice to meet you, Brad. All right, so then
Same.
I guess if we can continue on with this journey, I mean, it's been quite a journey, I would imagine, for yourself. And, going back now, there's another mural, The Healing Path, and the story behind that, Jeannie.
Okay, so with the Healing Path, that encompasses the two people, the Métis and the First Nations, who live with each other, in our community of Selkirk. So the idea was the ellipse, which is, it's the Métis sign, and it's called the healing path, and along that healing path are placed the seven sacred teachings, the 7 animals of the grandfather teachings. And in the center is the 4 sacred medicines. And we use those medicines, and when we come to know those 4 sacred medicines and we walk along that healing path and we learn the 7 sacred teachings, we are living a life of Mino Bamatsuan. Mino Bamatsuan is living in a good way. So that's one of the inscriptions on the mural. In the center of both of the ellipses is Métis-inspired floral beadwork, and then Ojibwe-inspired floral beadwork. So it's a beautiful piece that speaks to the heart of Selkirk community, and it's also the undertaking, one of the great undertakings of the Interlake Art Board.
Oh, and now the opening where Melody did her song, it was a big studio space, so to speak, and definitely there were many murals or big panels there, and so this is going to be sort of in the last, segment of photos that you sent me that we'll please put up, because due to technical problems we can't actually be in that area, but this is a huge project for Selkirk and for yourself and your team. So let's talk about this next huge thing that will be a public artwork, an amphitheater, so to speak.
Right. Okay. So at the beginning of 2019, the Government of Canada put out a call for proposals to commemorate the history and legacy of the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. So myself, I provided testimony at the National Inquiry in 2017. So because I was already doing the murals, I thought it was appropriate and timely that I could put this proposal forward. So I did it on behalf of and in partnership with my First Nation, Rolling River First Nation, and with the Interlake Mural Art Board, with the Interlake Art Board. And our team of muralists is international muralist Charlie Johnston, Métis muralist Ashley Christensen, and emerging muralist Brad Lent, and myself as the program project coordinator, and also person who is still learning the art of mural making.
It's hard to get a scope of the project just through photos, but I can't imagine that once this is set. And let's talk about where it's all going to be, and I guess what will it mean for the community of Selkirk, Jeannie, when you unveil this?
Okay. So it's an interactive, double-sided mural art installation. So it's going to be located behind the Gaynor Family Regional Library and nestled within the natural prairie grass field. So this installation, it's going to be an amphitheater. So from the back of the deck behind the library, when you look into the natural prairie grass field, it's going to look like a gigantic turtle emerging up out of the ground. That's the outside of the mural. On the inside, when you're able to walk in and out of it, you'll see the story of the journey of Anishinaabe people. And that will be from creation to living to going into the next realm, and then into the spiritual realm. Those are the 4 segments. The 4 different colors are yellow, black, red, and white.
I want to actually go to the photo with the group photo for the murdered and missing Indigenous women. that resonates strongly with you too, right, Jeannie? That legacy and making it really more of a national call too for concern and help for these murdered or missing Indigenous women and children.
So, like I said, I provided testimony at the National Inquiry. So there were two things that I spoke to. Number one is the murder of my mother. I was very young when I lost her, and I don't have very many memories of her, and most of them are pretty violent. So it was important for me to speak to that, to provide that testimony, to speak on behalf of her, because I never had a voice prior to that opportunity. I was never able to speak to it at that level. So that was my opportunity to speak to it, not just for myself, but for my siblings, for my community, and really for every other young girl and young individual who has lost a loved one through an acts of violence. I also spoke on behalf of myself being a survivor of violence. So it's important to me to create this installation. And it's not just about myself. What we've done is we've consulted with family members. We have gone into ceremony with them. Everything that's up on that mural, all those depictions are all elements of what families of missing and murdered feel is healing for them. So we collected those thoughts, in a really meaningful manner, and we sat with them, and then we created those design elements, and those are embedded into this mural.
Well, it truly is, again, incredible, amazing, fabulous what you have created. For you personally, Jeannie, you've gone through a lot of healing and I'm sure some very, very hard times. 2020 wasn't the year that anybody thought it was going to be. But by doing this and giving back, how has that changed your outlook? And maybe it was fortuitous that, 2020 is what it is today.
Well, you know what, for myself, I just feel like I am, like the mural is depicting the journey of the Anishinaabe people. You know what? It's depicting exactly what my journey is, and what role and part that I'm playing, with my fellow human beings, whether they be Anishinaabe or not, whether they be man or woman. This is the spirit journey that I've been on, that I've been blessed to be a part of, that I am so blessed. I am compelled to turn around and never forget where I came from, and never forget, that I was once there, and I need to step back and have my hand out, and to help others who don't have a voice like I didn't have a voice, or I didn't know that I had a voice then. So I do that for myself and for them.
Oh, you need to be so proud of yourself, and it's through things like this that you're able to help and reach so many people. And I think now more than ever, we all have to take that extra effort to listen and to help people share their stories. And by sharing your story, I hope it gives more courage to others to do so too as well. So what are the future plans? So when can we see this? And, hopefully we can all share the excitement of being together again.
Well, you know what, we're hoping that this installation will be going up in the springtime. So we're looking for it to be ready, probably by summer of 2021. The Interlake Art Board is really changing and altering the mural landscape, in such a positive way, because we speak to a lot of the social issues, and And it's just really great to be part of a community who appreciates art and who extends the opportunities for people to come on board, to learn, to create. And then we're also expanding into other avenues too. You know, like we're doing an endangered species mural, and that's coming up. And through that, with that endangered species mural, we're also putting a call out for people to do coloring books, you know, and this is with the endangered species. So we'd like to leave our website. I'd like to leave a link to our website up so people can come on and see what we're up to, and maybe they can, you know, if they're inspired to, you know, reach out and maybe come in and join us.
So what is the website, Jeannie?
The website is www.interlakeartboard.ca
Perfect.
or www.gwenfoxgallery.com.
Give all the shout outs you can to support the local galleries too. No, it's been just so wonderful to meet you, to meet your team. Thank you so much to Melody for the opening song. Great to meet you, Brent. And I guess, or Brad, we're going to see a lot of your murals. And it's just been fantastic. I think Winnipeg needs to have you come in and decorate our city. Because I know we do have some murals, but the invitation's open. And thank you so much for your efforts and giving people a voice.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And everybody click on and take a look at us, and you know, you're welcome to come out and do a mural art tour with us. So we'd love to have everybody. Thank you. Thanks for inviting us.
I want to give a big thank you to all of our guests on today's show and leave you with this last question. What are you most hopeful for in 2021? We want to know, so send us an email to hello@ilikehue.com, or you can Facebook or Instagram us at iLikeHue. But for now, stay safe and stay healthy, and we'll see you next time on Hue at Home.